Why would they rule that the CIA doesn't even have to divulge its torture sites, no less not have them? Why should they protect the right-wing idea of liberty in having a gun, even though it can kill people, and even though there have already been more mass murders than there are days in 2022, and those mass murders all used guns, and even though any dispute where guns are included includes a whole lot more death, why did they allow this? Also, the endorsement of religious participation in the death penalty and on a football field. What are they doing? And why are they doing it? Those are the questions that I think we're all asking. Americans are kind of taken aback that this group of 6 dinosaurs can take us back and back in time. What is their agenda? Well, I think that if we look at Nazi Germany, we can pick up some questions. These people aren't necessarily fascists. However, if we look at why Nazi Germany evolved, and we look at how America is evolving, we might pick up some cues that they are allowing an authoritarian state and divisions between the masses of people the way Nazi Germany did. Well, let's look at why fascism developed in Nazi Germany. How come? They were an advanced society, and before fascism took over, they were very progressive. Well, one thing that happened was Germany was the king of the world before World War I. It was the dominant military power, just as the U.S. has been the dominant military power, but is a bit shaky since we've lost in every war since World War II. Also, the United States was the economic giant of the world. After World War II, every other advanced economy was destroyed. The Germans were doing very well economically. Now Americans are not doing very well, and our economy has taken quite a hit. And for other reasons, the German middle class was very thrifty, unlike Americans. But they were wiped out before the Nazis ascended. Well, in the United States, the middle class is pretty wiped out too. And at the same time, the same things were happening in the family in Germany that are happening here. Marriages were breaking down. The economic basis for marriage was wiped out. Sexual mores were changing. More sexual experimentation and choices were allowed. And that was so in Weimar Germany before World War II, and it's true now, which bothers evangelical Christians and liberates a lot of other people. The majority of American women are now single by choice. They're rejecting the old deal of doing the domestic work for men and the sexual work for men and the social work connecting men to their relatives and children and friends, the child rearing work for men's children after a day when they work outside the home. And that isn't men's fault that they have to work outside of the home. The economy changed. Now, 2 people working at minimum wage, full-time, can't afford any place to live in any city, any county, or any state, a place to live that has 2 bedrooms. In addition, other things were happening in Nazi Germany that threatened the employer class. I should stop and define that there are 2 basic classes in society. There are the employers, one who use other people's labor to make themselves money, and the employees. The employer class is very small, maybe about 1%. The employee class is about 99%. And yet that 1% that has the money has enormous sway in the United States the way it did in Germany. However, it had less sway and less sway as the time went on in Germany, because the Communist Party and the socialist parties of Germany were growing by leaps and bounds. Unions were being created and that wanted to share the wealth accumulated at the top. And the German capitalists were afraid. Germany had a powerful, unified left, and the capitalists were so threatened that they gave enormous money to Hitler. Without those capitalists, he'd just be a weird guy with a little mustache. At first, people thought of him as really weird. But with that money behind him and the fear and insecurity of lost military might, a lost middle class, big social changes, and all that money from the capitalists, the Nazis were able to dominate and to kill the leftists.